This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, this is a first for me. And it started with one of my guests that I got on the show here today, Kerry Yates. Thank you so much for introducing me to Zoom, because I've broken my 2017 record and we are celebrating 13 Fanboy. And of course, you know, got my little tote bag. Little 13 Fanboy tote bag.
There we go.
Yep. And got the whole shirt on. This was back when Tom Matthews was in the movie. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I've got a Christmas sweater on.
Yeah, Christmas sweater on. I thought I'd wear my signed Ted White hockey mask here for a moment, you know. And I'm going to take it off. I'm not going to take anything else off, I promise.
Thank God.
That would only excite Troy. Just going to take this hockey mask off here. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Not too bad, thank you.
Good.
I got eggnog here. We're gonna do a little bit of Christmas celebrating. I picked that up late, couple nights ago. Actually, a couple mornings ago, getting off work because I do work the back shift. But happy to do this. I've never done a Zoom like this before.
Yeah.
Troy,
First time for everything.
Yeah, Troy, what are you doing? Zooming and driving?
Yeah. How I do.
Multitasking.
I've got a yeah, it's funny. I rented a bunch of errands and shit this morning, so I might be short of time, but I wanted to make sure I popped in and joined the festivities.
Yeah. Well, we got Dave Miller on here today, who of course was in 13th Fanboy, bled all over my pictures because he cut himself shaving and just couldn't do it somewhere else.
Stopped shaving.
Just couldn't do it somewhere else. Had to do it on our pictures.
Oh, that's Dave's blood that's on my photograph as well then.
Yeah, he cut himself shaving and bled to death looking for a Kleenex.
Yep, sounds about right nowadays.
Dave Miller, of course, played Tracy Savage's husband, and of course, that would have been the role I would have wanted, but he died, and my picture still lives on. It needs a dry cleaning, mind you, but a little bit of Windex, but it lives on.
Yeah.
The shirt still needs to be cleaned.
There you go. We have Kerry Yates on here today from the UK, and wonderful to have her. And
oh yeah.
Yep, we have. We also have Troy Oelke on here, who I don't know what planet he's on, but he's here. Troy, of course, is the worst security phone guard possible in 13 Fanboy.
We're on our way. Never shows up.
Yeah, Haley Greenbauer will never, ever call him again.
Call us back if you need anything.
Yep. Well, that song by Public Enemy, 911 is a joke. I bet you see she sang that after that. And we have Kristi Fontenot, one of the three amigos in here today.
Hello.
You know? Yeah. So there's still four of you not on here. And well, if they happen to check in, hopefully I will see them into they should be able to pop up here anyway, shouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Then I'll know, because this is the first time I've ever had multi-screen people on here. So just a question I have for, here we go. Tony. Here we got Tony. Tony, how you doing?
Tony P.
There he is, another one in his car.
Another one in his car. Jeepers. That means his big fish won't be able to gloom over his shoulder.
Yeah, I had to go on a meeting here, so
yeah,
kind of happened to do this on the go here.
Yeah. So you're not able to do this meeting with your fish looming in the background? Troy,
Hey,
don't throw up in that, please.
Have any of you guys ever zoomed with a squirrel before?
Oh, I see you zooming with the
It's a
squirrel.
first, man.
Yeah, Skittles is over there asleep. He's gotten to the point now when he sees me come on here, he avoids me because he knows I'm going to stick him on camera.
I've got my daughter there.
Oh, it's just almost the same as having a pet.
Yeah. Currently, I'll put her on her tablet on YouTube and she's watching Christmas Nightmare Before Christmas. So she's happy for a minute.
So just a question out of all of us here, how many of us have seen 13 Fanboy in a theater?
Woo! I have.
You have? What's it like seeing
Yes.
it in the theater?
It's definitely better than watching it at home. I mean, obviously, it's got more of just that feeling of the old flashback movies and what have you. So I always like seeing those. The movies that have really good production value are better at the theater, in my opinion. It's I think watching them at home, unless you have a home theater system, and even that, I don't think gives it true justice.
Yeah, I was not going to see it on YouTube. I never bought a movie on YouTube before, but what changed my mind is when Halloween Kills came out. And this is what I don't get. When I do this, I don't do this for hits, views, and likes. It's nice to have them. But the following day, right after Halloween Kills come out, you got all these YouTubers on there doing spoiler reviews. They just couldn't wait. It's like coming to my channel so I can talk about it. It's all about that. And when it come to 13 Fanboy, I was like, well, I really didn't want it spoiled for me because I invested in it.
Right.
Yeah. So I decided to rent it on YouTube. Now, I'm disappointed that it did not play here in Canada, and I voiced that. I was in Toronto for a week for Frightmare in the Falls, so I mean, it would have been the perfect place to see it. I did promote the movie there. If you've seen my photos, I did meet CJ Graham there for the first time. I actually had Nancy McLaughlin on my on speakerphone when I went up to meet him so she could criticize his roadside etiquette.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he talked to her for about 5 minutes, but yeah, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to know all of you folks because I mean, you're not. When you look at the poster, you see all the people from the franchise and whatnot. I love the idea of getting to know the people behind the scenes because you guys all have, your various personalities and whatnot. Well, Troy, I don't know what you can classify that as, but.
There's Hooper.
Oh, look at that.
There goes Hooper.
Why don't you have his Christmas sweater on?
Oh, I got waiting.
I couldn't find my Santa hat. I found Lisa Langlois is a close personal friend of mine from class of 1984. She was the one that invited me to my first con, and she sent a Santa hat with a little beard on it for my cat. And that was a gift that my cat says does not give.
I don't know about you. I like the first time I watched it, I wasn't really able to enjoy the movie. I spent the entire first time looking for all my friends, spotting all the people, and then after I got that out of my system, I was able to go back and watch it. And I think I enjoy it more each time I watch it because I'm separating myself and my friends from it, and now I'm looking at it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was able to spot all my friends, and I was a huge help again, as usual.
Yeah, that was one thing too. I reached out to get more behind the scene people on, and it made, even though I was watching it on my laptop, I would have preferred a theater. But I'm going to say, interviewing those, I had about 8 of you respond to that, including Tony. You were one of them, and Well, John Huey is not on here yet. He's supposed to click in here, but there was about 8 of you that responded to it. And I was like, wow, I was able to, it made it more enjoyable because I was able to see them in the movie and pick them out. And I was like, okay, I know this person and this person and this person, you know, it made it more enjoyable, you know.
I think it makes it more personal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how cool is it? Christopher Norris is going to go down as having the most talked about kill in the movie.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite.
Yeah. Well, Debbie Sue Voorhees did not know this. I was surprised, but Christopher Norris, of course, doubled for Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, or not Last Crusade, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I've always looked at Christopher Norris as kind of a badass ever since that, you know.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep, that is pretty awesome. But he had a really cool kill in the movie. I like that opening kill with the pitchfork as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that as well. So yeah, and it was kind of cool seeing our pictures. My pictures in they're right alongside Kerry's, and there's a bunch of other pictures in there that Dave decided to bleed all over because he just couldn't shave in the bathroom.
Hey, you know, that happens when you try to use a straight edge.
Yeah.
literally a cutthroat razor.
There you go. I am going to say this though. Tracy Savage is the reason I got involved. The moment Debbie Sue dropped her name, my wallet was going to open. That is, you know. And I am set to have Tracy back on here this Christmas. So she wants to come back on. I'm looking forward to having her back on. And I'm in talks with Lar Park Lincoln. We hope Lar heals well. She just went to the Roseblood premiere, but she just had a spinal surgery, and she seems to be very chipper, as we know Lar is. I do want to say this though. Dave and Troy, you two both did the Doubtfire Face challenge. Again, I can't express enough thanks for that. It's too bad that wasn't good enough for Judy Aronson, but I won't get into that in detail. But there are some others that are coming on board for that. Ron Sloan did it, of course, and I want to express any appreciation for that. Felissa Rose, I showed her the Doubtfire challenge that Sandy Johnson nominated her for when I met her at Frightmare at the Falls, and Felissa was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. She hasn't done it yet, but she sent me a cameo and she said she's gonna do it with the people she nominates. And those people are Dave Sheraton of Scary Movie and Alex Vincent and Christina Leese from Child's Play 2. So Felissa gets it, you know. So, but she was delighted because Sandy Johnson, when she did it, she took her husband was dressed as Michael Myers when he put the pie in her face. Yeah. And Lisa Langwa did it, and Nancy McLaughlin did it for her props from Jason Lives. And there's some people in the wrestling community like Teal Piper, James Ellsworth, and Tori Wilson did it. So I'm hoping to get more. I wanted to get more 13 Fanboy alum in on. Well, Noelle Berger did it, you know. Wanted to get more 13 Fanboy. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, I want to convince Tracy Savage to do it. After all, I spent all that money on this movie for her to be in it, you know? So I hope she does it. But, and I think Lara Park Lincoln is up for it, but I'm going to let her heal first, you know? But, so that's for suicide and depression awareness. So want to express my thanks because I know Dave, you did it, and Troy, you did it. And it gave Troy an opportunity to dress up in drag, which he likes to do frequently. Yeah. But how's Christmas going for you? Any of you get your tree up yet?
Not yet.
We've got
No.
some outdoor lights done, but that's about it.
I am very far behind this year.
You
I
know
don't even
what?
have room for a tree.
You know what? I put that up to my cat. Well, Skittles is curled up over there on his bed. That's about as far as that's gonna go. It's a good thing I got the eggnog. I'm able to do something festive, but when I get that little hat with the beard out, Kitty's gonna have to support it. A lot of people like it when Skittles comes on here. Like I remember Nancy Allen was like, I just want to push his little face. Of course, that's what Christopher Norris says to Troy Oelke too.
Critter. All
There
right,
you
guys.
go.
And I'm off to work, but you all have a wonderful day, and it was nice chatting with you, and I look forward to doing this again at some point.
What? You're off to work now? Come on. Who do you think you're fooling?
Work. My boss.
There's not a single person in this chat room that thinks you're working.
Yeah, it's funny. My boss, when I post videos, he's like, was that at work?
I love that picture you sent, though. Trailer Swift.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys. Andrew, my brother, showed me that because, of course, he's connected with you on Facebook. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you all soon and have an amazing weekend. And let's do this again.
Okay.
All right, Troy, good, man.
All right, Troy, take care.
Bye.
Take care, Troy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Well, there we go. Well, guys, let's talk more 13 Fanboy. Let's celebrate, a little toast here. Why don't you guys have your eggnog?
No,
Oh, what's Dave reaching for? What's in that?
Tennessee whiskey.
Of course. That's probably what you were drinking when you were shaving, right?
Water.
I have my Tennessee
Water.
You have my Tennessee whiskey while I'm shaving. I'm gonna do it over where these pictures are.
Good old-fashioned water.
Old-fashioned water. Well, you on your way to work too, Tony?
Yeah, I've got to meet up with a contractor here in about 10 minutes or so.
Ah. Your fish aren't gonna join you?
Not today. I had to leave them back at the house.
Oh. Well, you know what? It's great to have you guys on here. We're supposed to have Jimmy Presley and Riley C. Morris and John Hoey. I don't see them popping up here, but no. Oh well. But that's okay.
So,
we got us.
So let me ask,
Yeah.
those that are still on here, if you were part of the interviews, did you find it difficult talking about the movie without talking about the movie?
Well, really, you're the only one that knew kind of what was going on. We only knew the little bits and pieces that we filmed. So, I mean, I didn't know who the 13 Fanboy was until I saw the movie, because it
Right.
wasn't, when we were there, they didn't film any scenes that, would have given it away.
Right.
So, I mean, we didn't really know any spoilers either, actually. You did, though, Tony, but, we didn't, as just extras and stuff like that, didn't really know what was going on except for the little bits of scenes that we filmed.
Oh, wow. I just got a thing that comes up here, a gift from Zoom. Running out of time, we've removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting.
Oh, lucky you. Merry Christmas.
I'll take it.
You talk about what we knew or didn't know. I know when we were out in Ruidoso in January, and I met Judy Aronson there, and she slipped that she had me killed in the movie. And the second she said it, Ron Sloan was standing next to me, and she said, I probably shouldn't have said that. And Ron said, that's okay. He's seen the whole script. And I'm like, I kept my mouth shut, but I was like, no, I haven't. I have no idea what she's talking about.
I'm gonna be frank with you. I kind of knew Judy Aronson was the culprit. And I didn't know that from any script. I had a past guest in conversation. It slipped, and I didn't know that I didn't tell him that he had slipped. The thing is, the past guest is somebody not involved with the film anymore, because the person had to leave due to scheduling. So I didn't know I didn't know the other twist to the movie, because it does kind of have a Scream vibe to it. But nonetheless, I like the movie. I just wish I could have saw it proper. Like, I'll give you an example. I've seen Jason Lives many, many times, but in 2019, I got to see it at a midnight screening with an audience. That was where I really saw the movie, people reacting to it. And Jason Lives is the one to see with an audience, because it's got so many quotable lines and this and that, But I wish I could have saw 13 Fanboy like that, but I do appreciate that Debbie Sue Voorhees. I still call her Debbie Sue Voorhees. She says I'm like the only one that does. That's her credit in part 5. So I still call her Debbie Sue Voorhees, but nonetheless, she brought us all together, and we're all part of this, and it's really cool, and I like the idea of getting to know people from this movie that aren't necessarily front and center, like Kristi, you were talking about you and the girls and being in that room, and CJ Graham threatening to ring that. By the way, I brought that up to him when I met him at Frightmare.
Did you?
Hell yeah, he said he was going to do that, but chose not to. I think he hadn't. I don't know whether he has now, because I haven't interviewed him yet, but he hadn't seen the movie when I met him.
Yeah, trying to keep the scandals, having 4 undressed women in my room at a time. me and my angels.
Right.
Yeah, there
we
you
used
go.
Tony's room was our changing room to change from one scene to the next, because he stayed in the hotel where they were filming at. So he had 4 women in his room changing and getting dressed for the next scene.
Lucky guy.
Just think if Troy Oelke had been there.
But no, so it's kind of like one of the behind the scenes running jokes with us is like Tony and his angels.
Yep, we're Tony's angels.
Tony's angels? Did he talk to you on the speaker?
Actually, the bathroom was kind of the speaker, so yeah. I was in the bathroom while they were, dressing. So
cool. So I probably huh?
Did you realize that Spring was in there twice? Spring?
No, I
Yes.
didn't. She of course was in that opening scene, of course.
Right. She also was at the con wearing a wig, and matter of fact, she's in the trailer. She's the one who walks right in front of the camera with the long black wig during the trailer. And that's Spring too. She had to look totally different since her scene, than what her original scene was, to be able to do that second shot.
Oh, wow.
So when you see the trailer with a girl in the long black wig that walks in front of at the Comic-Con, that's her.
So that wasn't Elvira.
No. Yeah, that was Spring.
That's Spring.
I reached out. I want to get Spring on here because I want to talk to her about that opening scene with her. So Debbie Sue sent me her information, but I haven't heard back. So, but I would love to get her on here and talk about her working in the stalls. Well, the 13 Fanboy was overseeing, So out of well, most of you were on set. Kerry, Yates, and myself were not on set, but was there anybody you were starstruck to meet?
I don't know about starstruck because I've had the privilege of meeting several of the people at various conventions, and have actually worked with a couple of them as well. So for me, I think the big draw was probably Dee Wallace, obviously, but
Dee would have been who I would have said as well.
Yeah.
I'd met CJ before, prior to that, because I saw him at Texas Frightmare. So I'd met CJ in the past, but Dee Wallace was like the big, nervousness going up and saying hi too, but she was super sweet. A little bit nutty.
Noelle Berger's gonna be very upset that you didn't say her.
We had an adventure getting there, let me tell you.
I mean, I think I found, the actors that were there. Of course, I've known Ron Sloan for about, 17, 18 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But most of, they're all, they just come across as regular people. They none of them had any airs about them that made you think that they were better than you were or anything else. They were all, very, very nice people. And I don't think I was really starstruck by any of them. I was maybe more surprised at somebody like Dee Wallace, how friendly and outgoing she was.
Right.
Dee Wallace I'd interviewed in 2015, and I met her in Toronto at Horrorama in 2018, and she remembered me. And one of the things, I had her back on the show last month, and I said to her, she's the only one I've ever met at a con who had her own debit machine. I wish more people do that, because I hate carrying cash around with me. Yeah, but she had
everybody.
her own.
I hate to bail, but I gotta get to work here. So
Why?
Appreciate the invite and everything. So, but I gotta.
Good seeing you again.
Gotta pay the bills. I gotta pay the bills.
You mean to tell me, Troy, is that contagious?
Nah, has nothing to do with Troy. Trust me.
Oh, we think it had to do with Troy. He wants to be just like Troy. Oh, Tony is out. Troy's gonna go to work. Work is a 4-letter word. That is a 4-letter word. But I met Dee, and one of the other things I remember about Dee is that I had her to sign my E.T. and Howling Blu-rays, but I was contacted because I had Belinda Belaski from the Howling on here every year except for last year. And I hadn't had her on this year either because she's in the midst of moving. But Belinda, I remember, was contacted me. She was feeling sick at the time, but we were scheduling her for when I get back from Toronto. And I remember showing up at the con telling Dee, I said, your comrade fighter from against the werewolves is feeling down. Give her some good thoughts. Yeah, Dee is pretty cool to meet, so I'm glad you guys get to work with her. And so, yeah. So, Kerry, you didn't get to see the movie in the UK when it played, huh?
I rented it off of YouTube because it came out on YouTube over here, because unfortunately I couldn't get to the premiere in London, or Don's too far away, so, and there's no local theatres here playing it, so I think I watched it as soon as it came out on YouTube here, and I rented it, so that's the only way I could get to see it.
I rented it on YouTube, but Debbie Sue didn't know it was on there. She said, that's not one of the streaming services. I said, yes, it is. It's where I saw it.
Yeah.
It was $6.99. I had it for, I think, two days or something like that. I watched it 3 times, and
I just went ahead and purchased it. It was like $14.99, so I just went ahead and bought it. And so I didn't have a limit to when I watched it. Like if I watched it once, and if I wanted to watch it 5 days later, I could watch it 5 days later and not be forced to watch it in a couple of days' time, at least until the Blu-rays come out.
Wonder when the Blu-ray. I said to Debbie Sue, I said, "Are we gonna get an uncut version?" She said, "No, we're not gonna do." I'm like, "Look, if people can sit through 3 hours of a snooze fest like Titanic, we could sit through 3 hours of 13 Fanboy." I want to see the alternate version where Tracy Savage is not in harm's way.
Did you like the ending with Tracy that came after the credits?
Yeah, I'm envious of a certain actor. Yeah.
I wonder why.
You know what? It's funny because I've had Tracy on here twice. I'm gonna have her on here again, and she was a crush I had when I first saw part 3. And I said to her, I said, one of the biggest issues I have with part 3 is that she's written as pregnant, and yet the screenwriter just kind of forgets about it. And quite frankly, I would have preferred her as the final girl because I thought she was more likable than Chris. Nothing against Dana Kimmel, but I was like, gee, too bad Rick didn't have that date with Mary Jo Conrad.
Right.
He would have at least been alive.
He still had his eyes.
And he would have had less blue balls. So do you still keep in touch with the other two amigos?
Yeah, I do. Lisa's been on a 30-day ban.
Why? What'd you do?
I don't know, Facebook. They said something was against community standards, so she's on a 30-day. That's why you hadn't seen much of her lately. It's because
I don't even have her on my friends list. My big issue with Lisa Perez is I can't get her on here. I think she's done one podcast and then, like, I mean, I don't bite. I had you and I had Noelle on here. So I'm like, okay, to each their own. I'm beyond caring anymore. So I wouldn't know if you were, I know Troy Oelke gets banned a lot.
Troy has,
they're in the same club, obviously.
I don't know how many different accounts Troy has so that he can keep going. 4, 5, 6 different accounts.
Think of the society we live in now, though, with the Me Too movement, with woke culture, and it's getting to the point where you can't say anything now, you know? And I'm one of these people, like, I work mostly by myself, but I was training somebody last night, and it's like neither one of us wore a mask because we're the only ones in the building, but we weren't sweating and afraid of each other either. I was in Toronto, and I was at a Halloween party on a blocked off street, and I had no issues going in there and just mingling the people with their costumes, you know. I'm not saying you shouldn't be precautious. I did have my mask on, but that whole fear factor going on in society, it's just, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not getting it, you know? Have any of you seen anybody with COVID yet?
I've had it.
Oh, you've had it.
I had it back at the beginning of September.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
I have too.
No,
I have not had it, but someone I know's had it. It's not
Okay.
nice.
I've had my daughter's boyfriend was hospitalized with it.
Okay.
And I just had a good friend of mine yesterday got moved out of the hospital to a pulmonary care facility in Nashville. And
Okay.
quite honestly, we were surprised that he managed to get out of the hospital and go to the pulmonary care because they were basically preparing for his demise.
That's
Oh,
terrible.
I'm glad he
Scary.
survived.
I am too.
He's got a long road to go.
like here in New Brunswick, I live in Atlantic Canada, so I'm in that spot of the world nobody knows about. Which is why when I reached out to y'all, I think I'm the only one in this neck of the woods. But it's kind of like we kind of got the jump on the COVID thing. Like we saw it coming, and we've had deaths here, but we didn't have a death until some doctor decided to leave the province and come back, and he had it and infected one of his patients. And that patient was elderly and died. So, yeah, that's what happens. So,
John said that his Wi-Fi is down is why he didn't get to join.
did you Wi-Fi him? Why?
It popped up on my screen from the group.
Yeah, I hear beep on here. His Wi-Fi is down. Well, maybe he wants to cheer it up. That's all right. You know, I didn't figure everybody was going to get on here. Jimmy Presley, a lot of times his connection's not the best. I was lucky to get him on for a solo. I'm sure he wanted to get on here. And Riley C. Morris, I was hoping he'd be on here because he was heavily involved with the film, but that's okay. We got a nice little thing going on here. So
I do hate to cut mine short though. My daughters have an appointment in an hour at the doctor, and I
yeah.
have to get them dressed. I'm glad it got moved to 11:30, so I actually had time to be on for a little bit.
Oh, you guys just wanted to see Troy.
Oh well, you know it. We don't see enough videos of Troy on Facebook.
We don't.
No, it's like a rare occasion.
It's a rare occasion to see a Troy video.
He's so sporadic. He hardly ever gets on Facebook. So
yeah, you get some Facebook jail a lot though.
Yeah, he's like a repeat offender.
Well, here's my question for you before you go, Kristi. What was your favorite part of 13 Fanboy? Besides seeing my bloody picture.
I think it was the end where Dee just looked petrified, and you know she supposedly can't move, and Judy's just shit ass crazy. But really, to me, I thought the funniest moment was Chris Norris. The dancing in the hallway right before he got the stick right up his head. You know, to me, that was probably my favorite kill out of the whole thing. And
he cemented himself. Yep.
That was the most memorable, I think, moment of the whole movie was Chris. And see, the first time I watched it, I was like Troy, looking for everybody. But I think once I saw it too, again, a second time, and I wasn't focused on everyone looking for him, I heard the janitor, but yet there was two janitors. There was one that was in the dance
that
studio.
was
So I was looking at that going, that can't be Chris. I know that was
Brian.
But then later on in the movie, I saw Chris, and then I knew there was a second janitor, and he was not the only one. So
first janitor was Brian. I'm going to butcher his last name. Pandaria. I'm going to butcher his last name, but he was one of the ones that answered and come on here when I reached out to behind the scenes. Well, he was that janitor, and I was like, it made it more fun for me. Like I was able to pick out Orlando Rodriguez as a photography for in there as well, you know, and so it made it much more fun to be able to. Actually, here's a little trivia. Sean, I don't know if you know who Sean Clark is, but he's the one that books a lot of people for cons. I had him on here back in January. He booked Jamie Lee Curtis for her first con. He was supposed to be in the convention scene in 13 Fanboy. He's supposed to be in cosplay, but I think he was at another convention and wasn't able to do it. So it would have been kind of cool to see him, but he wasn't able to do it. But I will say this, how cool was it to see Ron and Carol do a brief scene together?
It was cool. I mean, where I was sitting at was literally a few feet away from Ron and Carol. I was at the table with Kelsey, and Kelsey was right beside Dee, and then Dee was right beside Ron and Carol. And Nancy, of course, you know, David's Nancy, she was at that table. So we were all like right there in that little group. And you realize that the con scene was filmed both dates, like in July and in January, and they were meshed together. Like we had to recreate one end of ours to match the one they filmed in July when Corey was there. So it was actually filmed at two separate times.
Were you nervous?
Nah.
Were you nervous working with Corey?
I never got to see Corey. He actually filmed in July. I didn't go till January. I never got to.
Okay.
I never got to meet him. He was only there for a few days, I think, in July. And that was it. I had to film his little parts pretty quickly because that was the only time he could be there.
Oh, I think John Huey is coming on. I think we got joining on here. But yeah, Corey Feldman I thought was funny in every scene he was in.
He was.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a kick out.
He does creepy well.
Oh yeah.
He did it very well in that movie.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, I've got to run and get my girls fed before their appointment.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Oh.
John Huey turned you off that bad?
Huh?
John Huey turned you off that bad? You're leaving now?
No, not at all.
Well, it just says joining here, so yeah, that's okay. I just got that message on here. We got more than 40 minutes. I'm like, I'll take that.
But hopefully we'll do this again soon, and maybe on a day where I don't have to go nowhere, so I can actually visit longer.
Yeah. Well, you have yourself a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
See you again soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, John Huey is nope, he's out again. I think he's having trouble with his Wi-Fi. That's okay. That's okay. So what do you guys want for Christmas?
Sleep.
Healthy shoulders. I've got a left shoulder that's bad and a right shoulder that's not much better right now.
Oh.
So I got to go in for an MRI on Monday and maybe facing some surgery. I don't know. We'll see. What happens when you get old and fall on your face?
Oh dear. Hopefully you get better shoulders soon.
So good health. My family to have good health. That's all I want for Christmas.
You know, my parents right now, they're, like I said, they're both terminally ill. So my younger brother takes care of them. So we'll probably have Christmas dinner over there. I'm hoping to have Tracy Savage on here on Boxing Day, because the last two times I interviewed her was on Boxing Day, you know. And a special thanks to Mike Guttridge for hooking that up, because he directed her in The Bone Garden. But I remember the first time I had her on, we had a snowstorm here. And my brother had cooked a nice big meal for Christmas, and he called me and he said, look, don't because we would travel out to the parents' place, and he calls me, he says, don't leave your apartment, the roads are bad, we had to cancel Christmas dinner. So it was just me and Skittles, if you can imagine how much conversation that is. It was me and Skittles, and it was snowing outside, and I was like, wow, what a kind of a dreary Christmas day. And then I hear from Mike Guttridge that says, Tracy Savage is available on Boxing Day. And I was like, my Christmas got made. Yeah, that and the fact that Lisa Langlois called me as well on Christmas Day, which was pretty cool. So it turned out to be not so bad at Christmas after all. So
there you go.
Yeah, you know,
It's the little things, as they say.
the little things that turned into big things. You still communicate with Ron, Dave?
Oh yeah, yeah. Probably been, I don't know, probably been a few weeks since I talked to him last, but yeah, we stay in touch pretty regular.
You only stay in touch with him because you want some of the Ethel stew, right?
Well, there's that, but I haven't been able to convince him to ship any to me yet.
You know, here's how considerate Ron is. Not only did he do a Doubtfire challenge, but he contacted me and he wanted my address. And he has sent me that soup label for Ethel stew that Jason Bradford had made. Speaking of Jason Bradford, he did a couple Doubtfire face challenges, but let's give him a little shout out. You guys get any of these?
I've got one hanging up that he's done. Yes.
Yeah, this is from the final chapter. Gotta give him a little shout out there. And I'll show this too while I'm at it. Because like I said,
when Ron did the Doubtfire challenge, I was the one that threw the pie in his face.
Was your wife that did it to you?
My wife did it to me. I did it to Ron, and I don't know how my wife avoided it, but she did.
Why?
She was actually supposed to do it at a Fright Fest thing last year, and somehow it didn't happen. So we'll get her eventually.
You want me to tell you one thing? I kind of one of the things I kind of regret about that is that they had Heather Lagenkamp and they had Amanda Wiss there, and I think Vanessa said that they were going to have them pie people in the audience or something along that way nature, and I'm kind of like, people want to see people in the movies do the challenge. That's what made the Ice Bucket Challenge so successful. You know, this is why I was extremely upset when Judy Aronson pulled her little stunt recently. You know, I mean, I don't want to be a dick to Judy Aronson, but if you don't want to do it, say you don't want to do it. You know, don't do that. You know, I've had a couple of other people that have done that to me too. I would donate to their charity, and then they would pull the they wouldn't do their end, and I don't agree with that.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like Sandy Johnson, when she did it, for example, from Halloween, I donated to Tunnels for Towers, which is for first responders who lost families, families who lost first responders at 9/11, you know. And I don't donate some $2 or $3. I make a decent donation. Linnea Quigley had an animal rescue thing, and I donated $50 to it. And then she made every excuse in the world not to do the challenge. Scotty McCoy had told me it cost him less than $5 to do that for a paper plate and whipped cream. And it's just a lot of people are just too friggin', you know, like that bothered me. And not that I want this meeting to be a doom and gloom, but I tried to do something good, and I was hoping with me being a co-producer on this movie that I would bring more awareness, because that was where my heart was with it. And with Judy, it felt like a slap in the face, because it's like she had no appreciation for my contribution for the film, you know?
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know, I don't have to meet her at a con either. So there you go. Because the last con I was at, I met everybody. I went around, met everybody. I'll tell you one thing. If you get the chance to go to a con and meet Felissa Rose, meet her. She is 1,000% on. She had the biggest lineup. She gave everybody a big hug. And she was just so pleasant with everybody. I loved meeting Felissa Rose. She was just, everybody mattered, you know. I don't know how many of you have been to horror cons, but it's like a little community. It's you're like you're included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you been to?
I went to a Days of the Dead one in Atlanta. Nancy and I went to Days of the Dead earlier this year in March.
Okay.
Or February. I forget exactly when it was. We met Tony and Kristi and Lisa there.
Uh-huh.
And we went to that one for a couple of days, had a good time. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Who did you meet there?
Oh, God.
You met God there?
Pardon me? Well, CJ Graham was there from 13 Fanboy. Judy Aronson was there.
Oh, that must have been a thrill.
Tom Matthews was there.
I love Tom Matthews.
I'm just trying to run through my head what other people were there. God almighty, drawing a blank. What happens when you get old?
Well, Rodney Dangerfield once said, he said, you know you're getting old when you walk past the cemetery and two guys run after you with shovels.
Well, I'm that close to it.
Yeah.
But no, it was a fun time. We enjoyed it. It was good.
So when you met CJ Graham, did you meet him on set?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he was already familiar with you. Yeah.
We met him on set in January when they were filming in January. So yeah, he was. I'm trying to think I don't know if there was anybody else there from Fanboy besides Judy and CJ. I don't think there was.
Give me a few years on Judy. It's going to take me a while to. Yeah.
You'll get there.
Look, I don't want to be an asshole to her because Ted White spoke so highly of her, and so did Vernon Wells. But I'm not seeing the same person, you know. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, but my recent interaction with her was not pleasant, and yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but going back to CJ Graham, how cool was it? Now, Kane Hodder had a great moment in the film. And I love the fact it was him and Jennifer Bonco doing their scene together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that it was CJ Graham that had the knockdown, drag out fight with the Fanboy.
With
you know? Yeah, because number one, I think Jason Lives, between that and the final chapter, but I think Jason Lives is the best one of the franchise. I think the final chapter is the scariest because I think Ted White was my favorite Jason. I think he was the most intimidating, but I like CJ Graham in the role too. But I love the fact he goes, you know, you want a shot at the title, you know. There were some people on doing spoiler reviews that thought that line was corny. I understood that line. I thought it was a great line.
I thought it was a good line.
Yeah,
I really did. I mean, you know, I thought it fit in very well.
Not only do I think it was a great line, but I love the fight because in the fight, you could see because, you know, wasn't he a former Marine? What's the story with CJ?
Army.
Yeah. Army. Okay. You can see that in this fight but you can also see, because the Fanboy is a lot younger and quicker, you can see where CJ is, where it's wearing on him in the fight. I like that little detail. You know, it wasn't him going in there being the Incredible Hulk. It's like, you know, he's going to go for a bit, but it's going to start wearing him down because of his age, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I I enjoyed meeting him. That's the first time. I haven't had him on here yet. I got to get him on here. Nancy McLaughlin, huh?
A true gentleman.
Nancy McLaughlin warned him to do my show. Love Nancy. But I enjoyed that part of the film. I'm going to tell you some other little details I like too. Christopher Norris's death scene was great, but I loved it when Tracy Savage is in. She's on the phone, and she knows somebody's at the door. I love it when the Fanboy has the keys, checks a key, doesn't work, and then he shakes the keys in the door. Like, thanks, Christopher Norris. You're really good at protecting the lovely, beautiful, gorgeous Tracy Savage. Don't have your headphones on like that. I work in janitorial. You listen to a podcast instead. No, but I loved that he would show the keys and he'd shake the key. And Tracy Savage, because she's been in journalism for so long, she had outside, you know, the Bone Garden and stuff that she did with Mike Guttridge, she hadn't done a lot of acting since part 3. And when he's going to get in there and he's getting closer to that key, you could see her start to panic. And I'm like,
yep.
I like that. I like that moment because you can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. I really enjoyed seeing if I'm able to get Lar Park Lincoln on, and I'm in talks with her because I gotta tell her, I gotta say the Fanboy brought the wrong food down to your little cell. Because if he had been smart, he would have done what Jason Bradford did. Bring a great big jug of Nutella. Were you on set, David, when he brought her the Nutella?
No.
He brought her a big jug of Nutella.
No, I was not on set then.
Yeah. So, Kerry, did you have a favorite scene in the movie?
Do you know what? I liked seeing Kane Hodder being Kane Hodder, because I think Kane is so typecast as, you know, the stuntman, Jason, Hatchet. It's actually nice to see Kane as Kane, and hopefully it's done him a bit of justice to see Kane in that light, because everyone, I think, was expecting Jason Voorhees on screen, and I think people forget that Kane's Kane. And it was actually, I watched it with my son Dylan, and I said, and he was actually goes, that's Kane Hodder, isn't it? And I went, yeah, it's Kane. He goes, he was expecting like the Jason get up, and I went, no, Kane's playing Kane. And it's actually nice for my son to see Kane Hodder on screen rather than the Jason and the Hatchet that he plays as well. And it's actually nice to see the human side of it. And I think hopefully it shows Kane in a different light. So hopefully, you know, gets away from like these stunty roles that he does do. So I think, you know, and he had that moment, you know, sort of that human moment rather than, oh, let's get the machete out and let's go and kill her. It was really it was a nice scene to me. So it's maybe boring to everyone else, but to me, it was a nice, that human scene. That makes some sense.
You know, I like the fact that he had that scene with Jennifer Banco.
Yeah.
You know, I think that made it even better because, of course, she played young Tina in the 7th film. So it was nice to see them have that moment, you know. So that made it even better, you know. Got a question. Do you have a favorite in the franchise?
I think for me, it's got to be the original because I actually sort of like, because of my personal situation, I actually get where Mrs. Voorhees was coming from. So I think it's got to be the original one. So for me personally.
My big issue with the original one, I hated finding out they killed a real snake in that cabin scene. That didn't set well with me. I'm like, is Sean Cunningham that incompetent a director that he could not have the machete go down? They had to really do that. You know, they could have shot around that easily, you know. But I like Adrienne King, and I like the fact that she was at the end. I miss the final girl element of these films. Once you get to, you know, well, part 6 was fine because Tom Matthews and Jennifer Cook, they played well-developed characters. By part 7, I would have preferred that Lar Park Lincoln go it alone because she already had telekinesis. Didn't like having Kevin Blair there. He added nothing there. I didn't like seeing the two people together in part 8. Added nothing to that. With 8, like in part, of course, part Jason X is a clusterfuck anyway, you know. But although I did like Lisa Ryder as the robot, I'll say that. But here's the thing. With the original, one of the things I like was little moments where you get. I hear a lot of people complain because you see Adrienne King as Alice wander around the kitchen for 2 or 3 minutes making coffee. I like that moment because it's nice and quiet. Yes. And you see her, she kind of looking around. She's doing something very casual that we all do. And of course, I get the Tim Hortons in the street to do it because, well, I don't have a coffee maker, but that's beside the point. But it's nice and quiet and it's ominous. And when she does eventually come back in, there's that moment where she goes, she's looking around, she's pulling the curtain and she's looking around and she hears the loon outside. And you hear the loons a lot in the original. And then she kind of leans against the fridge and she goes, what am I going to do? And that's when Brenda's body comes through the window, you know. I like moments like that because she's isolated, and I wish these movies would go back to a final girl, not a final girl with Rambo.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
That was I'm going to have to get going myself, but just one final you'll appreciate.
I love Tracy. Oh. We gotta get her to do the Doubtfire Face challenge.
She wrote this and said to Dave, thanks for being a good dead husband.
What was your favorite in the franchise before you go?
Oh, you know, I have to lean to the one that makes the least amount of sense as part of the Jason genre, and that would be 5 because of Ron Sloan and Carol.
Yeah, I have a bias because Melanie Kinnaman. Ron Sloan, that's one of my other crushes in the franchise is Melanie Kinnaman. Oh my goodness. If I'm gonna go to a halfway house, I'll go willingly if she's there.
There's worse places you could be. In any event, I need to get going here. Thank you so much, Greg. Kerry, good seeing you.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on here. Thanks for coming on here.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We'll have to do it again.
God bless. Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Have some stew from Ethel.
I'll try that. Bye-bye now.
Later.
Bye.
Oh.
And there were 2.
Now we're down to 2.
It reminds me of the Agatha Christie. Do you know then there were none?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to close off here very shortly myself because I got to get ready for work tonight because I'm training somebody. But you know, it's perfect that you're the last one here because you're the one I started with this year. So, and I mentioned this to Debbie Sue Voorhees as well. Like, I appreciate what you do, Kerry. I notice you're on all the feeds, even Deaf Curse Society. I hear them mention you. Is it Deaf Curse Society that you're on?
Yes.
I hear
like
them
it.
mention you. Yeah, the Colonel and all those guys. I listen to that and I love it when they point you out. You're always there. You're very supportive, and that has not been lost on me at all.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's who I am. I do support at the end of the day. It's who I am. That's who I am in real life. That's who I am. You know, I'm not this. There's no split personality. Oh, Kerry's this. I support whoever, you know, who needs supporting. So that's who I am. You know, and there you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was unfortunate we didn't get John Huey. We'll do a little shout out for him because we know this. I guess his Wi-Fi wasn't working for him, but special holiday wishes out to John. Riley C. Morris and Jimmy Presley didn't make it on here either. Don't know what was going on with Riley C. Morris. I wish he could have made it on here, but I'm pretty sure he's busy. That guy, of course, he played. He's in 13 Fanboy. He plays the barber, the stylist. Yeah, that says that that Corey Feldman could do anything to him.
Yeah.
That was Riley, and it was again cool to see him. And Jimmy Presley, it was probably a situation with his Wi-Fi as well because his connection's not always the best. But we'll send a special shout out to them. Thank you, John Huey, Riley C. Morris, Jimmy Presley for considering coming on here, and we certainly understand why you weren't able to. But to you, Kerry Yates, and to Troy Oelke and Tony DeBenedetto and David Miller and Kristi Fontenot. I appreciate you all coming on here today and celebrating 13 Fanboy. A special thank you to Debbie Sue Voorhees for creating this little union, for allowing us to be part of this film. And it was nice to have you guys on here today. But I am going to close off here, Kerry, because gotta get ready for work tonight.
Oh, yes. No, Paw Patrol. What do you want now? Sorry. What do you want now?
There you go.
Oh, Blaze and the Monster Machine. She's got a tablet. So.
Kerry, you should play. Kerry should play with the Monster Machine.
Monster Machine. You want to say hello? Hang on.
I can't see you right now for some weird reason. Yeah.
Say hello.
Hello. Wait a minute. Riley C. Morris is here.
Hang on.
Just a second. We'll keep you on here. We got Riley. We got Riley.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Riley. You know what? You're lucky. I'm
super late.
That's okay, because I got a notice on here. We got Kerry Yates on here, and what happened? I got this notice from Zoom saying we extended past the 40 minutes for Christmas, and I'm like, perfect timing.
Oh, great.
So I got unlimited for this right now for Christmas. I'm like, perfect. Everybody found out you were coming on here, so they got off here quick.
I get it, man.
No, that's okay. No, I'm glad to have you on here. I got some eggnog.
Oh,
Kerry
cool.
Kerry Yates is still on here. We had David Miller was on here, and Troy Oelke was on here. Tony Benedetto was on here.
DeBenedetto.
Oh, gee, you're better at that than me.
I I had to practice with him when I was on set. You just
Yeah.
gotta let it go. DeBenedetto.
Yeah, he
Deb-
was.
It's De of Benedetto.
Ah,
Benedetto is easy to say. DeBenedetto.
there you go. There you go.
That's all you gotta worry.
Yeah, we had Kristi Fontenot on here as well. So, yeah. So, how you got your Christmas decorations up yet?
Yeah, sure. I got some lights up on the porch.
Oh, you see, my cat won't put my stuff up, so I don't have anything up. My cat's over there. Well, oh wow, Kitty is around. Come here, Kitty. Kitty, you want to join our little group meeting? Hi, Skittles. Skittles is like, can't believe you're doing this to me. You're just doing this for hits.
What a cute cat.
It's Skittles. Skittles, that's my executive producer, editor, all that stuff. Skittles says he doesn't care. Skittles says he only cares if he has temptations.
Cats don't care about shit.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm picking up different jobs. I'm getting ready to leave the country again. That'll be fun if I can make it out before Omicron.
What's that?
The new variant.
The new COVID
Oh,
variant.
japers. Oh, I wish they'd stop with that. Oh my goodness. Where you go? You going back home or something?
Oh no, I'm going to Italy. I was there this summer.
Oh,
So I'm going back.
Not too far away from me.
Oh yeah, where are you, Kerry?
The United Kingdom.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. How is it in the United Kingdom?
Cold, wet, and damp.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So business as usual then?
Yeah, at the moment, definitely business as usual.
Oh, wow.
Well, one of the questions I asked, I'm going to ask you this too. What was your favorite scene in 13 Fanboy?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, favorite scene in the movie
Uh-huh.
is, I don't know. I guess I'd probably say the convention scene, because there's just a lot of stuff going on in that scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how cool would it have been if Sean Clark had been able to do that scene?
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I really like the favorite scene that I worked on would be there's a handful of deleted scenes that I worked really hard on that didn't make the cut.
I had Debbie Sue on here last month. And I said to her, I said, look, if people can sit through a 3-hour snooze fest like Titanic, I said, can we get an uncut version of 13 Fanboy? And of course, you were saying, I'm not doing touch this thing and edit and cut all this again. I'm like, leave it to Riley.
I'd do it if I get paid for it.
Ethel will pay you with stew.
I'm good on stew.
But yeah, how much was cut out of it?
The first cut we had was a little over 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it was around 2 hours. And so then we cut it down to 90 minutes. And that was brutal because we had it was like 2:15 and then cut it down to 2 hours and then cut it down again. And with each cutting down, we had to like, with each of the cut downs, it ends up reorienting a lot of the story and the film and the placement of scenes. Like a big issue with it was Andrew's hand,
Uh-huh.
the bandage on his hand.
Yep.
And so we had to because that had to be relevant in order for it to work as a fake out, right?
Uh-huh.
And so we'd have to move when we delete scenes from the end. It's not like we can just chop off 30 minutes and throw it away. There's stuff in there that needs to come out. So we're really going through the whole thing and cutting out 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 5 minutes here, putting that together. Does it work? Kind of. And then we have to restructure, but we can't put this scene ahead of this scene because his hand isn't injured yet, that kind of stuff.
Well, you could fix that. Just injure his hand.
Well, we're not reshooting. The hardest thing to cut was Dee in the woods on the video, where she's like the video was tampered with or faked or something.
Yep.
And that was really tough because she's obviously not in those woods. So that's a digital effect that I did, and then spent a week to put her in the bushes and then match and go frame by frame so that she looks like she's really there. and then dirtying up all the footage to make it look like a VHS effect. And that was the hardest sell, because if that didn't work, then if it didn't look believable enough for the police, it wouldn't be believable enough for the audience.
Yep.
And so that took a while, but those are my two favorite scenes, I guess.
Yeah. We got John Huey. Are you in here yet?
I am, my friend. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Glad to have. I got a thing on Zoom that said that for holidays we're extended past 40 minutes, and I'm like, perfect timing, So you missed Troy Oelke and Tony and Kristi Fontenot, and it's okay. We got Riley C. Morris has dropped in here, and we got and he's promising a free haircut and for anybody comes on here. And we got Kerry Yates here with her. You got eggnog in that?
No, coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee.
That eggnog. I'm getting into the festive spirit here. But yeah, we're trying to talk Riley C. Morris into doing an uncut version of 13 Fanboy.
Fuck yes, I want this now.
See?
It would definitely change the ending.
Change the ending.
There was a couple of things. One thing I like the red herring with the boyfriend. I forget his name again. My head's just not worse.
Oh, Chris.
Hello. Oh,
Yep.
I see you now.
Hello, by the
There
way.
you go. There we go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a car, by the way. So
You're the third person
I'm
to
in a
come on
car
here
being
was in a
chauffeured by
car.
my other half.
Yeah, Tony and Troy were both in their cars too. Troy said he was going to work. I don't buy that, but
Yes.
yeah. Riley, do you have a favorite in the franchise?
I like
I
it's
have to
funny.
keep disconnecting and reconnecting audio. It's quite weird.
Yeah.
They're all a different kind of magic and wonder. It's funny, the guy that I've been friends with for ages loves the franchise, and so he's shown me I knew about all the theories and most of the world from my friend before I got involved with the project. Just through him. I really like the rooftop, with the boxer.
Julius.
That rooftop.
Yeah.
57 minutes in, I believe, roughly.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you,
Greg will
John?
tell you I am a,
What's that?
what was the question? Just so I can.
It's muted.
Oh,
John
yeah.
keeps putting his thumb on the mute button.
Yeah, he's
That's
got
why I
the thumb
haven't
on the.
seen on my mobile.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm doing it on my laptop. I don't know how to do it on the mobile.
Yeah, mobile stuff. It keeps on making me lose audio. What was the question? Just so I can.
Favorite of the franchise?
Part 5.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Melanie Kinnaman in Part 5. I gotta
It
say.
was. And it's not just because I'm involved in the 13 fanboy. It's I love the brutality of Jason's kills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the motivation that Mrs. Voorhees had. So I think it's a perfect combination between the two. It's a father seeking revenge for his murdered son.
Well, I'll say this. I think the best film of the franchise is Jason Lives, but I think the scariest one is the final chapter, and I think a lot of it has to do with Ted White being.
Ted White.
Yeah.
Ted White is. So for
I
me,
had this on when I started.
Nice. I have a lot of masks.
This one's signed by Ted White. Yeah, I had this on when I started. Yeah. Yeah, Ted was on here a couple times. I really like him. He's my favorite Jason.
So my Jason rankings are for sheer ferocity and brutality, Derek Mears.
Okay.
For love of the role, Kane Hodder, because he's the only one that's signed on to do more than one movie, apart from Ken Kersinger.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ted White.
That too.
Steve Dash. Nice.
Yeah.
Steve Dash would be next. Richard Brooker I thought was amazing, but I didn't like the effect of him. And CJ Graham is brilliant, don't get me wrong. But his Jason was less scary and more comedic in certain parts.
I like CJ Graham in the part, but I gotta say Ted White was the one I was the most frightened of in terms of he had the most intensity, you know. One of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise is when Kimberly Beck as Trish Jarvis goes flying out that window. Yeah. She's got a choice. She's either got to go through him or go through the window. Oh, look at that. I got that picture too. That's Junior.
And then he signed this one for me. I don't know if you can read it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try something, folks. I'm gonna try.
There you go.
It says never fart in a body bag. Long song.
Oh, I have to say, see when I met Deborah.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
She's every bit as lovely in person as a person as she is on interviews and stuff.
Yeah, she's great.
Like me and my other half we were talking to her after the show for roughly 2 hours. Her and Haley Reese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get Haley back on here this year, but I think she's busy with stuff. So in the foreseeable future, so
I think that she's got the potential to be one of the next big scream queens.
Sure. Yeah. Could you have her right in there with Andy Matichak?
Yeah, it was really interesting watching Deb teach Haley how to be a scream queen.
Yeah, I think she's a lot better than Danielle Harris. Don't get me wrong, I love Danielle Harris in the Hatchet series, but for me, she's always going to be tied with the abominable Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Scout Taylor Compton was a very good role to Laurie Strode. So, what can I say?
I think, honestly, if they reverse the roles and give Danielle Harris Laurie Strode, that might have been better.
I found it distracting when they had Danielle Harris in there, period.
Yes,
you know?
Because she was Jamie
Lloyd. Yeah. It was distracting. Nothing against Danielle Harris. I just found it distracting. But
I think she's brilliant in Hatchet movies.
You know what? I haven't seen the Hatchet movies. Never seen any of them. Good. Yeah. I have seen Secret Santa though. That was good.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
And Adam Marcus is a fucking legend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. All you want to do is an unwanted holiday table guest is in that movie. I absolutely love it. So I'm not being funny. Have you ever been at a Christmas dinner and you're sitting there
Yeah.
and you're playing with your fork and your knife and you've got that visitor at the end of the table and all you want to do is you're imagining, aren't you?
Yep.
But when you sort of like see Secret Santa on screen, you're like, yes. You know, you sit there and go, oh look, that's what I wanted to do to that person and that person and that person, because you had to sit there for like 10 years with the same person at your Christmas table that you never wanted to sit there with in the first place, but you're forced to because it was family or a sister's boyfriend or stuff. So you sit there and there's sort of like you know, baubles in faces and stuff like that. You're going, yes, this is Christmas for me.
I was thinking, see, speaking of the holiday theme, right? I know recently in America it was Thanksgiving. And honestly, I was thinking that day, like, how lucky have I been in the last couple of years to get to meet and talk with people who I loved on the street for years, and work with Kerry here, who is an absolute star.
Well, I've promoted the film in Toronto when I was there for Frightmare in the Falls, but I didn't get to see the film on the big screen. I wish I could have. It didn't play in Canada, but I did wear.
Didn't play in Texas either.
Yeah, that was a disappointment to me. I did go see it on YouTube, and I mentioned this earlier, but I'll mention it again. When Halloween Kills came out, and this is a problem I got with YouTube, you know, Halloween Kills came out, and immediately the next day, people got on and did spoiler reviews, and it becomes all about views. It becomes all about views, hits, and likes. You know, they don't. Why not give it a week? But no, they got to jump on that because it's all about them. And to me, I do this for fun. This is not all about me. I do it because I enjoy it. But I knew all about Halloween Kills before I even saw it. And people can say, well, you don't have to listen to it. I work as a cleaner in the back shift. So I can listen to music, but I prefer to listen to a podcast, you know, and I listen to a lot of horror podcasts. So, but nonetheless, when it come to 13 Fanboy, it was like, well, I'd never streamed a movie before, but I streamed 13 Fanboy on YouTube, which Debbie Sue Voorhees was not aware that it was on YouTube, but it was $6.99 on there. That's where I saw it. But the reason I had done that is because, the reason I did that
was a good price. I paid more for it.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't want to get spoilers the next day, because especially since I was financially invested in this movie. So I did it.
And emotionally.
I would have preferred to. I told Debbie Sue I was going to be in Toronto for a week at a certain time, but
how many times have you guys seen the movie?
Yeah,
each of you.
I saw it 3 on YouTube.
3 for Greg. How many for John?
8.
You've seen it 8 times?
Yeah.
Sorry, 9. That's not including the time we watched it with Debbie Sue herself.
Oh, wow. Good job. Kerry?
5 times.
5 times. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next time I see it will be on the Blu-ray.
I totally get Deb's position of not wanting to watch it ever again. We've seen it so many times. We've seen it so many times. And for a while there, we were cutting it with Post-it notes on a board, on a 3-way, on a trifold board, and we were just moving the Post-it notes around to edit the movie of each scene.
Oh.
I'm trying to get spring booked on here, the actress at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I'd like,
she's in the horror convention.
yeah,
Spring
yeah,
Shorts,
with
yeah.
a wig on.
The
Yep.
Spring Shorts.
Yeah, I want to get her on here because I really like that pitchfork scene there at the beginning as
Yeah.
well. That and Christopher Norris, I think, were the two
Okay,
death scenes in the movie I like best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were speaking with with Deborah and that, right, at the convention, at the premiere, she was saying that there were supposed to be more kills planned. Unfortunately, Nora Hewitt got some of her stuff stolen.
All right.
Oh, Nora Hewitt got her stuff stolen.
Didn't she trade it to Ethel for some stew?
No.
Oh,
She had.
oh, that makes me feel really. Whenever you say Ethel stew, I sit there and go.
Yeah, Nora. I think she had some stuff stolen out of her car before she left.
She had more stuff planned, and it was like. But what I have to say is, so when I compare 13 Fanboy to the other big horror movie that came out, right? What I love more about 13 Fanboy is the fact that it's an original concept, and it's something that could easily happen.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other movie, which to me it was more of an effort to try and bump up those numbers, kid, as they say.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of the kill scenes with the firefighters. In all the years in all the Michael Myers movies, right? He's never moved that way.
No.
And to think, right, in that movie he'd be in his 60s, right? You expect a guy in his 60s to be in better shape and more agile than a guy when he's in his 20s.
And also, you've got to think Michael Myers has been in the sanitarium, so technically all that has deteriorated because they don't get a lot of gym time or anything. So,
actually, my big issue with Halloween Kills is a big issue I've had since they rebooted it. They should have not. They should have allowed kept Halloween 2 as canon.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to be freaking out, the whole town freaking out, it makes more sense after the hospital massacre than with a small group of people that died in the original, you know?
Oh no, 4 people died. Let's band together.
Yeah, and of course this Evil Dies Tonight thing got old quick. Although I loved Kyle Richards. I gotta say it was nice to see Kyle Richards.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's still helping people who are trapped in windows, though.
And the lady with the iron coming to. I sat there. Look, so she's taking an iron to kill Michael Myers with.
Yeah.
The other thing, like they're basically to me, they were just trying to catch Jason up a number of kills. That's it.
Yeah. I don't think I'll. Yeah.
We had this conversation in our interview, Greg. Like to me, the problem is you can't count all of Michael's kills. If you go by the old franchise's rules, you count 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. You count 1, 2, Halloween Kills and Halloween Resurrection. Trick or treat, motherfucker, indeed.
What? You don't like that movie? You mean I'm waiting for them to do the special Busta Rhymes edition.
Yeah, that's actually something I was going to say.
Yes, it sucked. I agree.
No, there were elements. It could have been good, but Busta Rhymes.
It could have been good, but it was made.
What the other thing I didn't like about Halloween Kills is they are trying to basically make everything that happened in the other movies happen. Like there's the whole supernatural element, like the Cult of Thorn.
Yeah.
And if you, I actually bought the Halloween Kills novel,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually references Cult of Thorn.
Oh,
All right, my
There's the-
dudes. I gotta roll. I got a place I gotta get to.
yes,
Well,
you
it's
gotta
just
get
like-
to the editing room. We want an uncut version of 13
Yeah.
Fanboy.
Yep.
and several fucking sequels.
Yeah, I know. That would be ideal.
Riley, it was
Definitely an
wonderful
English
having you come
person
in here
speaking
today.
in
Thank
it.
you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for all your support, you guys.
Oh, it's happy
No
to, happy
worries.
to.
Riley,
Have a
I'll
Merry
see you-
Christmas to you.
Yeah,
Riley, let me know what you're doing next, because I'll be on band with you, because you
Okay.
don't bring it up.
awesome. Thanks.
Oh, yep,
Appreciate you.
absolutely.
And
God
Yeah.
bless you.
Bye-
Have a Merry
bye,
Christmas to you,
Riley.
man.
Deuces, y'all. Be good. Love and kills.
Absolutely,
Right then,
absolutely.
bye.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but as we're saying, see in terms of Halloween Kills, like they're just trying to shove the whole franchise in one small one. The kids' masks are the mask from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did
Wait.
kind of like that tie-in, though. I got to admit that
Yeah.
little, Easter egg.
To me, the whole problem is Halloween Season of the Witch should never have been called Halloween 3. It should have just been called Season of the Witch.
I agree. Oh,
Season
yes.
of the Witch made by the people who made Halloween or something like that. Not Halloween 3. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, because it's like making Nightmare on Elm Street about Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah.
Like you said, the reason I went for Friday Nightmare on Elm Street instead of Friday the 13th is there's been multiple killers on Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th went downhill. I mean, Jason X, I still consider the worst one of the franchise. That turned into. There were more people laughing at that movie than you think you were watching a comedy.
But I will still argue to the death that it is an Oscar winner compared to the Bye Bye Man.
I haven't seen the Bye Bye Man.
You lucky bastard. I'll say that again. You lucky bastard. I think, you know what, here we're talking about doing the Doubtfire challenge.
Uh-huh.
They should do the Bye Bye Man challenge to raise money.
Yeah, I think I was saying the Doubtfire Face challenge, and I hate to beat this dead horse, but Judy Aronson said a year ago, answering a cameo, that she was jealous that Ron Sloan had done it, and she didn't know she was nominated, and she was up for it, but the pandemic had happened, and so that was fine. I didn't want anybody to go out and get sick, but right around Thanksgiving, I threw the challenge out to a few more people because cameos were down in price. So I threw it out to some people, and I thought, well, I should reach out to Judy Aronson again on it, just in case she forgot. And she asked me to withdraw the request, and she said, what's strange, she said, this doesn't feel right for her. What the fuck do you mean by that? It's a suicide and depression challenge. What's not right about it?
See, I don't know if there's any family history of suicide or anything. For me, I do, which is why I would struggle with it a bit. I've lost 2 family members to suicide.
Yeah. Well, I've dealt with depression, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
And this challenge, I didn't start it, but when the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS did so well, I was like, here's the thing. I didn't think of it as a trending thing. I thought of it as everybody coming together for a greater good of a cause. I was totally naive to the whole trending thing. I was naive to the fact that nobody even knew what ALS was. My dad's got it, had it for 7 years. But here's the thing. When somebody else tries to raise awareness for something, it's like people are too busy now eating Tide Pods, doing Tide Pod challenges, or some stupid shit like that to get attention. And I've had some people do the Doubtfire challenge. Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 did it. She's a friend of mine. Yeah. Well, Lisa invited me to my first con, and she and I have been friends ever since. Yeah.
I've seen they're trying to launch a new Traumaverse thing.
What's that?
They're trying to launch a new Traumaverse.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah, I love those old movies.
Nancy McLaughlin, she did the Doubtfire challenge in front of props from the movie Jason Lives. Sandy Johnson did it. And her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers when he pied her. See, she nominated Nick Castle, PJ Souls, and Felissa Rose.
Huh?
I met Felissa Rose at Frightmare in the Falls, and I showed her the challenge.
Uh-huh.
And not only is Felissa down for it, but she's going to do it with her nominees, who are Dave Sheraton from Scary Movie, Alex Vincent, and Christina Leese from Child's Play 2. See, Felissa gets it. Judy Aronson doesn't get fuck all.
Yeah. Sorry, just speaking about Child's Play, what do you think of the Chucky series?
Haven't seen it. I don't have television. I get a Blu-ray player and I just watch my movies.
Man, you're missing out. It's brilliant. Like, there's a lot of fan service to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina Lee's is in it.
I was supposed to meet Christina Leese at Frightmare in the Falls for whatever reason. She wasn't listed as canceled, but she wasn't there. I bought Child's Play 2 on Blu-ray, and I was like, where is she? Something must have came up, but
yeah. Oh, I was lucky with the premiere. Deborah signed a few things for me.
mm-hmm.
I have. You saw my NECA collection. Well, I brought 2 of the toys all the way from Ireland to England. 2 of the Part 5. I have the 2 Part 5 ones, and Deborah was kind enough to sign both for me.
Cool. Cool.
She's honestly, it's one of the highlights of my life.
Yeah.
And that makes me sound like a weirdo, but hey.
Well, I often said if it wasn't for Tracy Savage, she was the reason I got involved with this movie, because the moment Debbie Sue dropped her name.
Yeah.
And I always liked Tracy Savage. So I got on the co-producer. I don't know what perks are supposed to come, but
I don't care. My biggest perk was actually being part of it. And do you know what though? I would, the one thing that disappointed me, I would have loved to see more of Carol Locatelli interacting with Ron Sloan.
I thought it was funny she called him an asswipe.
So yeah. So my missus actually thought that Dee Wallace and Ron Sloan were a real couple. They're not good together.
Ron Sloan, I gotta say, his performance surprised me a lot in this movie, because I'm so used to seeing him as Junior. It was great to see him step out of his comfort zone and play this part, you know.
Oh, but just when you mentioned your man in, was it Sheraton? I forget his first name.
Dave Sheraton?
Yes, he is also in Hatchet 4, Victor Crowley.
He's also in Z Dead End, which Spring Schultz is supposed to be part of. And that was one of the last movies I got my name on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I'm excited to get my name on some more stuff. It's nice to.
Well, there's a couple of projects that I bought Blu-ray perks. I'm not financially in a position where I can donate a lot of money for this stuff anymore, but The Witches in the Sand by director Tony Martin is a really good project to get involved with. That's got a lot of names in it. And the other one is Stream, directed by Michael Levy. Michael Levy was, of course, Will the Exterminator from Terrifier.
He was. He has. I've been looking at this, and I'm actually speaking with Michael Levy recently.
Michael Levy did a Doubtfire challenge too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put Art the Clown's in it.
Yep, I've had him on. Yep.
I can't wait for Terrifier 2.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck are they going to top that sawn in half scene though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that was not easy to watch.
No, it was uncomfortable, but brilliant.
Yeah. But I have had David Howard Thornton and I have had Michael Levy both on from that movie.
Have you had Damien Mathai on?
Not yet. Give me time on it.
I can make an introduction. He's a friend of mine. Well, friend on Facebook anyway.
All right, but by all means, yeah. Oh, I've had, like I said, Michael Levy and David Howard Thornton, so why not?
Yeah. Did you watch? What did you think of Strangers Pray at Night?
I haven't seen it, but I gotta be frank, I wasn't a big fan of The Strangers, but Strangers Pray at Night, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing it. One of the things I hate endings of movies that's gonna end on a bad note. I hated The Mist because of the ending.
Yes.
Hated the ending of that movie. It just felt like a kick in the balls. I thought The Mist was pure shit because of that ending.
Yeah, it was Frank Darabont.
Yeah, that's what he fought for. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, but what garbage, you know?
It was faithful to the book, though, or the novella.
Well, you know what? Look, the authorities show up mere second. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought it was garbage. Don't give me that, you know? And Strangers was scary, but I didn't like the ending of that. But I heard Strangers Pray at Night. The ending gets
interesting. Very interesting.
That's what I've heard.
I highly recommend it.
I probably like that one better. Like, I believe in good over evil. That doesn't mean you have to have rainbows and butterflies at the end of the movie. Like, I like the way the ending, like, I like how John Carpenter's Halloween ended. Yeah, Michael Myers gets away, but at least there was that confrontation with Dr. Loomis, you know. I was satisfied with that ending, you know.
Yeah.
But I do not like these movie endings where it's got to be like, and it's happened ever since that conversation in Clerks with Kevin Smith, where they're talking about Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. By the way, I love the original Star Wars trilogy. I saw them at the drive-in when I was young. But here's the thing. The dialogue goes like this. He said, Empire had a better ending. He said, life is a series of downtimes. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's really how you want to look at it? I liked Empire Strikes Back as well, but I remember when I first saw Return of the Jedi, and I really understood the power of good when I saw Darth Vader, of all characters, pick the Empire up and throw him down that shaft. That was like, I just cheered in the backseat of the car at the drive-in because it was like I got to see good really win out. Because Darth Vader, of all, went over to good. I'm sorry, like, people can complain about the Ewok. I enjoyed Return of the Jedi. I loved seeing Darth Vader go good because it reinforces the idea that good is stronger than evil. But you got these people with this mindset that everything's going to end on a dark note. This is why I have a problem with a lot of horror movies. A lot of people are cheering the villains.
Yeah.
I don't think I agree with that. I want to root for the victims, you know. I want the victims to survive.
Apart from certain ones like Trent from the Friday the 13th remake and Charles McCulloch. And,
I gotta say this. I got a soft spot for Charles McCulloch. I've had Peter Mark Richmond on here twice, and sadly he's gone now, but I had him on here twice. He's my favorite part of the movie because every time he's on screen, the movie moves for me. But what a wonderful, gracious guy. He was such a nice guy to do an interview with. He was such a great guy.
Have you had the opportunity to watch Roseblood yet?
No, I haven't. I'm working to get Lar Park Lincoln on here though. So
that to me was the highlight, seeing her on it. I'm not going to go any spoilers or anything. That's not something I do.
Mm-hmm.
It had potential to be so much more.
Oh, okay. I get you.
I would put it as my third least favorite of the fan films I've seen.
The best fan films I've seen
Never
were
Hike Alone.
Never Hike Alone and It's Me, Billy.
Yeah, that's the Black Christmas one. Not Black Christmas. Not Black
Dave-
Christmas.
Yes, Black Christmas, Dave McCrae.
Yes.
It's Me,
I would-
Billy was fantastic.
I would love to see a Silent Night, Deadly Night fan film. It would have to be better than Garbage Day.
I want to get him on the show. Mr. Freeman, Eric Freeman. Garbage Day.
Right,
It's just
gentlemen, so I'm gonna have to go and cook dinner because my kids are starving, as I tell
okay,
me.
Kerry.
Kerry,
Yes.
thanks for coming on here today. It was wonderful sharing this time. I was happy to do this.
Yes. And also, it's nice to actually have a new laptop to do it on because the other one died of death. So it's actually quite nice. I literally, it's literally last week I was just loading up my laptop and had a blue screen of death, and that was that. So I said to Greg, I said, hopefully my new one turns up, and it did. So it's actually quite nice. It's all, you know.
Well,
it was lovely talking with you as always.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, I gotta get ready to go to work because I work the back shift tonight. And I think the only one we were missing on here today was Jimmy Presley, but I would imagine he probably had some internet issues, but yeah, we'll send a little shout out to Jimmy Presley because he's been so supportive of all of these. Yes, Jimmy Presley is great. So there was supposed to be 8 of you on here today, and I've had 7 of you. So special shout out to Jimmy Presley, and I'm glad. Thank you, Zoom, for extending the 40 minutes on. That happened today.
Mhm.
I'm just sad about the fact that I missed Troy.
Yeah, well, people went back an hour, or back a half hour, just so Troy could come on here for a moment. Yeah. Yeah, so he was on here with a squirrel.
Oh,
yeah.
I love animals. Like I have so many animals, as you know.
Yeah, well, I had Skittles on here not too long. He's over there now sulking because I had him on here when Riley was here.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna close out. But I thank you guys for coming on here today. This was so much fun. God bless you, and I'm happy to know you.
You too, my brother. See you soon.
Likewise.
Absolutely. God bless. Merry Christmas to you. And a special thank you to Debbie Sue Voorhees for coordinating this and making 13 Fanboy happen and bringing all these talented people under one roof. And yes, that includes Judy Aronson, even though she's pissed me off. But eventually I'll get over that. It just, yeah.
Just watch her die a few times. That'll make up for it.
You know what? I don't hate her, but it's just say no up front,
Yeah.
I don't hate her. I'm just angry, But
no,
I don't.
You're just disappointed.
I don't wish any ill will towards her.
No.
I wouldn't want to see nothing bad happen to her, but I'm disappointed. She disappointed me.
Yeah.
But other than that, you guys did. Huh?
Sorry. They say never meet your heroes, but I did recently with Debbie Sue, and I'm not disappointed.
Well, one of mine was Lisa Langwa, and she's a personal friend of mine now. So
yeah,
Lisa invited me to my first con in 2017, and we've been in touch ever since. So
I need to go to a con sometime. Anyway, look after yourself.
All right. God bless you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Absolutely.